Hi, it's Dr. Linda Davis, and today I want to run through an exercise using Word, and we are going to create a letterhead. And so we'll start with a blank document. There's some initial settings that we need to update, and so the first place we're going to go is just into the paragraph ribbon that's in the Home tab, and we're going to just select single space or 1.0. Another adjustment that we need to make is in the paragraph ribbon itself, so we're going to expand the paragraph ribbon. And spacing after needs to be adjusted down to 0 point if it's not already there. As you can see, line spacing is on single, so we're good there. Say OK. Now we're doing letterhead, so I like to go up and use a very high top margin that's still in the print range of what the printer can handle. So let's go to margins. So margins, let's go to Layout, Margins, and we're going to go down to Custom Margins. And if you've got your booklet with you, it's page 30, and we're going to have the margins listed except for the top margin, because I want you to know that for the test. So the top margin, I want you to have it at 0.2. The bottom margin is going to be at 0.6. The left and right margin is going to be a little bit different here. 1.8 for the left and 1.5 for the right. The orientation is portrait, and just say OK at the bottom. Notice our cursor now is very near the top still, but in the print range. The next part is we're going to put the graphic in that goes along with this assignment. So we're going to insert picture, and we're going to scroll down to where we keep this picture in Student Common folder, in my Davis folder, inside the CIS 101 folder. And you will find an image there called Bloomers, which is the name of the floral company we're using. So insert that. The image is going to come in very large. Okay, and a couple of things we got to do to it. We got to resize it. So we're going to go to the bottom corner and just resize the image. I've got my rulers up. So if you want your ruler up, just go to View and check Ruler. And the size on this, roughly, not giving you anything exact here, but roughly 2.5 inches. So that still might be a little big, so let me go just a little bit smaller, somewhere in that realm. Okay, and always resize from the corners to keep your image in proportion. Now, at this point, this image needs to come over to the edge, the left edge, but it cannot because it's treating it like text and it's keeping it within the margins. So what you need to do to correct for that is you'll notice if you click on your image, format becomes available. So click on the Format tab up at the top, and you want next to go to Wrap Text. And when you click on Wrap Text, you got options there, and the one you want to change it to is Square. Hit Square, and that now, two things happen. It will now allow you to type text beside the graphic, and it will allow you to take the graphic and push it over to the edge. Now keep it still in the print range, so not too high. Again, use the line they give you to guide you there, and not too close to the edge, but along in there is good. Now at this point, my cursor now will go beside the graphic, but I need to center this because it's the company names coming up next and it needs to be centered. So we'll do Control E for center, or you can click center on your paragraph alignment tools there. Okay, now obviously company name's got to be a big size, so we've got a special one on the paper. If you look in your booklet, we're going to use monotype Corsiva. It says so on your paper. We have little information boxes scattered throughout this Word document. So we're going to use monotype Corsiva for this one. That's what it looks like. Obviously you may have to go further down into your fonts to find it. Again, the shortcut for finding a font real quick is just typing the first couple of letters of that font name. So just type MO, and it'll get you into the neighborhood of monotype Corsiva if it's not readily available here. So let me click on that. Now the size for this one in your information sheet, it says it's 48 points, so we'll change it to that. It's also bold, so you can either click B for bold here, or you can do Control B on your shortcuts, on your keyboard shortcuts. And at this point I can start typing the name of the company, which is Bloomers. Now before we leave this particular area, our cursor is blinking very large here, and we want to take that cursor size down so that when we hit enter, we don't get these huge gaps going down the page. So I want you to go back to the font size, and I want you to change it back to size 10, because in letterhead we're going to have our address and phone numbers at size 10. Now I'm also going to change the font just back to either Calibri or Times New Roman or something very easy to read, because address and phone numbers, you want them easy for people to read. Now I'm going to hit enter, and it does put my cursor down here, size 10, a lot smaller, not taking up, not giving me a big gap, which is good. Now I do need it to align back to the left and not be centered anymore. Okay, now you can click on the Align Left tool in the paragraph ribbon, or you can do Control L, that's the shortcut for Align Left, and you can type the particular address we have. So make sure you're back at Times New Roman, size 10. Oh, I also need to take the bold off, so unclick the bold there. Now, just a random address here, but we'll put this one in. Now, I'll pause here at the end of the address part because I'm going to install a right tab, which will then allow me to push my text for my phone numbers way over here and kind of back built toward the middle. So let's work on that. Now in the paragraph ribbon, we've got to go find the tab setting area. It's not always it's not visible really. You just got to know to do this. So in the paragraph ribbon, expand it. If you go down to the bottom right, or bottom left corner, bottom left corner, there's tabs. Click on tabs. And in tabs, we can set our tab stop positions. We can see that what our default tab stop is, which we always leave that there. And we make the changes we need to make. So on your paper it says 5.19 is the measurement we want, but it is also a right tab, not a left tab. So make sure you change that alignment setting as well. And you need to set and say OK. Now nothing happens yet until you actually hit tab on your keyboard. So hit tab on your keyboard. See, it sends it across to the other side of your page. And you can type our phone number in now. And then we can hit enter and go down to the next line, which is where our city, state, and zip is. It's all random here pretty much. Now, I still have my right tab set, so I'm going to hit tab on my keyboard again, and it's going to, again, send it across the other way. And this time I'm going to put a fax number in. And you can kind of see how it's back building toward the middle. And on this particular document, we don't have a graphical line separating the letterhead from the rest of the letter. This one design's a little bit different, so don't be fooled by that. We just don't have a graphical line on this one. Now, at this point, I want to hit enter and get down below the letterhead area. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gets me to the area where I'm going to insert a date, but my date's going to be a different kind of tab. So, and I'm also, once I'm past the letterhead, I'm going to go back up here to font size and take it back up to size 12. And I'm going to get it ready for that new tab. So the next tab is a left tab that's 3 inches over. See the 3-inch area on my ruler bar here. So I'm going to go back to the paragraph ribbon so that I can get back to tabs in the lower left corner. And I'm going to clear all my tabs, clear all, and I'm going to put one in there, a new one in, 3 or 3.0, and this is the left tab, so make sure it's left. Then set, then OK. Now hit tab on your keyboard. That should put us right there at 3 inches over, which it does with our cursor, and we're going to insert the date. Now, the insert date feature, I'd like for you to use that. That's insert, and in date and time is over on toward the right on your toolbar. And it's like a little calendar and a little clock, so click on that and it brings up all the possible date formats. The one I like for us to use in class this semester is the third one down where it spells out the month. Okay, so we'll take that one and we'll just insert it, and there it is. And then we want to go down to the next section. 1, 2, 3, we're going to hit enter 1, 2, 3 times. And at this point we are ready to type in the inside address for who this letter is going to. And hit enter twice to get down to the actual where the paragraph starts for the body of the letter, let's just say. And so we're going to type the letter. I'm going to go kind of fast here to get through this. You can always pause the video if you need to. Now initially I'm going to not italicize and change bloomers to monotype cursive, but I'm going to come back and do it when I get this letter typed. Now, one other thing I need to do with this paragraph is I need to make it justified. So justified is a new alignment tool that we haven't used yet. So we've been on align left, we've been on center, but we haven't done anything with justify. Justify is the last choice here in the alignment. So justify. I'm going to just go ahead and do that. And it just makes the edge of your paragraph on both sides very straight. And it kind of pulls from the middle, so don't be alarmed if you see extra, looks like extra spacing in the middle of your paragraph. But it won't actually be a space that you did, or an extra space that you did. Now, let me continue typing. Now I'm going to go back and, obviously fix any little typos I may have. But also I'm going to highlight every time it mentions bloomers, and I'm going to make it monotype Corsiva, and I'm going to make it bold. I'm not changing the font size, just the font and the bold, putting that, because that's kind of brand recognition for a company, is to stick to that same font style throughout. So let me continue doing that. And let me catch any more that might be in here. There's another one there. Hopefully I didn't miss any typos, so we'll move on. And we have just a bit of another paragraph, a very short paragraph. Skip a line, please. Now, this next section is a bulleted section of text, and I want to show you how to set up those bullets and how to set up spacing after when we want line spaces between each bullet. So we start off obviously at the margin, but we want to add a bullet. So we'll add the bullet. Now in the paragraph ribbon you have the bullet tool. I'm not doing any particular fancy bullet. I could, but I'm not today. I'm just going to put a regular bullet in there. Notice the bullet jumps over from the margin and then adds some more space before you start actually typing the phrase that's there. So you can change that. So you can modify that if you need to. So on this one we'll go up to the paragraph ribbon again, expand it, and make those setting changes. So on your paper it will say a couple things. It'll say bullets, you need to indent left 0.25, which that is the default setting, which is fine. and then it will say special hanging indent will be 0.55. So I want to change that one to 0.55. And the difference being indent, that's how far the bullet indents from the actual margin is this measurement. And this measurement over here, the hanging indent, that's more how far it is from the bullet to the actual text, where the text starts. Okay, so that's how this is divided up. When you get this set, we're not quite done. We've got to do spacing after. We have a new setting for spacing after. This time it's going to be 12 point. Notice that spacing after goes up in increments of 6. So it's 0, 6, 12, 18, and so on. So we want ours at 12 point. That gives us an extra line space between each bullet. So as far as each bullet section, I guess is the best way to say that. And say OK. So it's all set up. Notice that this part stayed the same, but it jumped over a little bit more to show where your text starts right there. So now on this particular example, I have to remember that this goes up to a little bit bigger size. It's Times New Roman 14, so make that change. And it's bold and italicized to give you some practice with that. So we can start typing. Now, the nice thing about setting those bullets up initially is just all you have to do at this point is just hit enter. And oh, I just realized something did not flow like I wanted it to, and I know what it is. Go back to the paragraph ribbon, and we set spacing after at 12 point, but it didn't take effect. It's because we have to uncheck this part that says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Say OK. Now try it. Now we get the extra line space in between, which is what we wanted. Now we'll continue typing our bullets since the rest of it was set up nicely. And hit enter again. It should give you the line space, the new bullet, and off you go. And at this point, we're done with the bulleted section, and we just want to go back to the regular body font size. And so we can hit enter a couple times. Notice that it gave us a bullet, but then after hitting enter twice, it reverted back to the format we had going on before the bullet started. Now you may have to correct a few things. Just check your font. Is it still Times New Roman? Is it gone back to size 12? That's good. And look at the paragraph ribbon, because one thing that doesn't change that you need to affect is the spacing after. Take it back to 0 before you continue on here. So I think we're good to go, just doing this last little section. Now hit enter 3 times, and we're going to still use that left tab that went over for 3 inches to the left, right? How we got October up there. Now the next part, the O in October, should line up with the S in sincerely that we have over here, and that's what we're going to try it out first and make sure it's still there. So I hit tab on my keyboard, and it did go there. Make sure that lines up to obviously 3 inches on the ruler bar, which is good. And we'll type sincerely then, comma, and then hit enter 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then again tab over. Still remembers the left 3-inch tab. Now at this point you put your own name in there, and then hit enter again, and then tab again over so it all nicely lines up. And the title for this, your title in this particular company is Account Executive. Okay, so finish that out, and that's it for this particular letter. Now let me just stop and save it. Obviously, just call it Bloomers is fine. Save it in your folder on Drive I, and then upload it to Moodle. Okay, and I hope that helps you get through this while you are online with us this week. Thanks for your time.